Hey everyone, as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, I still have some albums I would very much like to talk about, still have some stuff, and I might even go into 2025 talking about some of these 2024 albums because they're amazing, but I'm going to try and get through a couple of them before the end of the year. And the first one I want to go over is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. This is his sixth studio album, and it was a surprise release, actually released on November 22nd of this year. Which honestly, just to start already, I know it's been ran to the dirt of talking about this year, but Kendrick Lamar has had a amazing 2024, even before this album was even dropped. Basically, start of it, we didn't really know what was going to happen, and then we get the surprise feature on Like That by Future and Metro Boomin, which kickstarted this beef with Drake and J. Cole. J. Cole ended up deleting his diss track, and then so that part wasn't really that important, but then the main focus was Drake, as him and Drake threw comically fast diss tracks at each other. Release date, we saw very many of them, and at the very end of it, Kendrick Lamar released Meet the Grams, which was a visceral, was very dark, took the rap beef into even darker places than you would think. They were very Pusha T like. And then he finishes it off even more with his new song, Not Like Us, which has taken over the song of the summer. Yeah, it's been talked about. I don't really need to talk about it any more than that. But after finishing that, releasing a music video for it, which did numbers, and then getting announced to perform at the Super Bowl. You would think that this would be the greatest year of probably his life musically. But then, and songs even nominated for Grammys, and most likely win at least a couple, at least I hope. But one of the big things that was coming out was this almost beef with his mentor, Lil Wayne, as Lil Wayne seemed upset that that Kendrick Lamar was picked for the Super Bowl over him, which, I mean, I get it because it is Lil Wayne's hometown, but I also don't get it because why would they pick Lil Wayne, I guess, over Kendrick Lamar in this instance, as even though I love Lil Wayne, Carter 3 is one of my favorite rap albums, I don't know how you can really pick Lil Wayne in recent form over Kendrick Lamar current. And, usually you would think people would be very supportive of Kendrick Lamar, but everyone, and I mean everyone, was against Kendrick Lamar as a Super Bowl person. I think the only person who wasn't, in terms of, rappers, was Nas, which was crazy to me. You got people even saying, oh, he's only going to perform, Not Like Us, and it's did people not, listen to his music and know how much actual popular music he has, let alone his good music as well? It's insane. And then he releases this album, GNX, which came out of nowhere, no promotion, not even an announcement, similar to how Tyler, the Creator, announced the album, and then, a week later, it's coming out. This album, no promotion at all, and he really didn't need it because the album went to number one, which is a testament to his popularity, overall and creative force. This album is a West Coast hip-hop album, and I know you're going to say that's been all of his albums. This album speaks to it more than I think his other albums, as every other album has tackled something different, and I feel like GNX kind of targets multiple of those things from the album, but maybe sheds more light on. So while it's not necessarily repeating it or just taking small aspects from the other albums, it's taking those aspects and pushing them further and further, which I think is very interesting take. And while, at certain points you might have to dig deeper to find those, I think it's overall pretty worth it. Even as the opening, Whacked Out Murals, which an amazing song, very intense in terms of his voice, the beat on it, just how the flow of it goes in general, talking about the Lil Wayne in general with the Super Bowl, just beef with all these idols becoming against him, his colleagues, all this stuff, just in recent form, which is very personally touching. You have Luther with SZA. There are two songs on this album with SZA on it, and she performs amazing singing on both of them. Super excited to see clips from the tour. Not going to it, sadly, but it looks super cool. You have a lot of really good features from rappers who are not in the mainstream yet, as most of them are pretty young into it and are all West Coast rappers that I really appreciate that Kendrick Lamar is giving a shine to, which was a big part of criticism towards Kendrick was that he doesn't really promote West Coast rappers that much. But in reality, he always has been, and I think this album cements it even more with features from Dottie 6 on Hey Now, which is one of my favorite features on the album, as his entrance and near the end of the song I think is very just electric, very evocative emotionally, and almost tantalizing with the song's kind of seductive nature too, which is funny to say. You even have some appearances from very popular rappers like Roddy Ricch on Dodger Blue, which I thought was an interesting choice, and I thought it was overall done pretty well. You even get the Heart Part 6, not Drake's Heart Part 6, Kendrick's Heart Part 6, which I thought was good. You had the title track GNX, which I really enjoyed the features from Young Threat and Peso. I thought both of them did pretty good, specifically Peso. They did good. Gloria, as I said, I think I mentioned before, which has SZA. And my personal favorite song on the album, Reincarnated. I really enjoyed this song the most, as while I enjoyed all the other songs, they didn't necessarily like make it to my rotation as much as I would have liked for the most part. Whacked Out Murals and Squabble Up obviously did, and the other songs were good, but they weren't getting as much replay, which sucked. But Reincarnated, I think, has been in my rotation a lot just from the story narrative. I've always been a big fan of Kendrick Lamar as a storyteller, as I feel like he's very good at building characters. Some of the most interesting Kendrick Lamar songs, in my opinion, are like How Much a Dollar Cost, where you really get this character portrait. He builds it super well. You got Wesley's Theory, which is probably one of my favorite Kendrick Lamar songs. Really paints this picture, and Reincarnated goes through these different lives. At the end, it shows it's supposed to talk about like Satan and the relationship with God, but then it's showing Kendrick Lamar. At the end of it, you have God speaking to Kendrick Lamar, and it's very like chilling emotionally. It really touches upon stuff that was mentioned in Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and while at first I wasn't, even though I did like this song, overall as an album, I thought this album was repeating things from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that because I was like, I thought we already like went over all this on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and then I kind of needed to like realize that things are ever changing in the world, things are ever changing in Kendrick Lamar's life. Musically, there's always going to be new discoveries in that, and there's always something to talk about with that. And he's not repeating it, he's giving it a new layer, which is something I think I needed to realize and felt kind of silly for not realizing. And overall, instrumentally, I thought the album was pretty good. The DJ Mustard beat was pretty good with him yelling mustard in it, was really great from Kendrick. Overall, pretty sorry, I'm kind of sick right now. But overall, a pretty good album from Kendrick Lamar. Not my personal favorite out of all his albums. I definitely liked it better than Section 80. I liked it better than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I think I might have liked it around the same amount as I liked Damn. So it kind of falls kind of below To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and a little bit behind Untitled and Master, because I do really like that album for its songs. And because of that, I'm feeling an 8 on this album. Let me know what you all thought, and I'll see you all later.